First contact. The day the Zorthian ships appeared in Earth's sky was the day humanity realized it was no longer alone in the universe. Massive vessels, each the size of a small moon, cast shadows over every major city on the planet. The world held its breath, waiting to see whether these visitors came in peace or with more sinister intentions. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, Earth's foremost xenolinguist, stood in the United Nations emergency chamber, her heart racing as she prepared to make first contact. As the chief of the newly formed Extraterrestrial Communication Division, the weight of humanity's future rested squarely on her shoulders. Dr. Rodriguez, are you ready? General Michael Chen, head of Earth's Unified Defense Force, asked, his voice tense. Elena nodded, taking a deep breath. As ready as I'll ever be, General. The chamber fell silent as Elena stepped up to the advanced communication array. With trembling hands, she activated the system, sending out a carefully crafted message of peace and welcome in every known human language, along with mathematical sequences designed to demonstrate intelligence. Minutes that felt like hours passed before a response came. The alien message flickered to life on the chamber's main screen, a series of complex symbols and patterns that Elena and her team quickly began to decipher. As the translation software worked its magic, the true nature of the Zorthian Empire began to reveal itself. They were not explorers or diplomats, but conquerors, having subjugated countless worlds across the galaxy. Earth was simply their latest target. People of Earth, the translated message began, its tone cold and imperious. We are the Zorthian Empire, masters of 1,000 star systems. Your world now stands at a crossroads. Join our glorious empire willingly, and you shall be granted the privilege of serving as our subjects. Resist and you will be conquered, your resources stripped, your people enslaved. You have one planetary rotation to decide. Choose wisely. The chamber erupted into chaos as world leaders argued and debated. Some called for immediate surrender, hoping to gain favorable treatment. Others demanded resistance at all costs, unwilling to bow to alien tyrants. Elena stood amidst the turmoil, her mind racing. She caught General Chen's eye across the room, and in that moment, a silent understanding passed between them. They both knew that neither option presented by the Zorthians was acceptable. As the hours ticked by, Elena worked tirelessly with her team, analyzing every scrap of information they could glean from the Zorthian transmissions. They discovered references to other conquered worlds, hints of advanced technologies, and most importantly, signs of weakness within the Empire itself. With less than an hour left before the deadline, Elena and General Chen presented their findings to the UN Security Council. Ladies and gentlemen, Elena began, her voice steady despite her exhaustion. We believe there's a third option, one that the Zorthians won't see coming. General Chen stepped forward, bringing up a holographic display of Earth and the Zorthian fleet. We propose a strategy of deception. We appear to surrender, integrating ourselves into their empire, while secretly preparing for rebellion. Murmurs of disbelief and hope rippled through the chamber. Elena continued, the Zorthians have conquered many worlds, but they've never faced humanity. We are adaptable, resourceful, and above all, resilient. If we can buy ourselves time, we can study their weaknesses, advance our own technology, and build a resistance network not just on Earth, but across their entire empire. The plan was risky, with no guarantee of success. But as the council debated, a sense of determination began to fill the room. This was humanity's chance to prove its worth not just to the Zorthians, but to the entire galaxy. As the deadline approached, Earth's response was transmitted to the Zorthian fleet. On the surface, it was a message of capitulation, agreeing to join the Empire peacefully. But hidden within the transmission, encoded in a way that only humans would recognize, was a message of hope and defiance. We will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. The Zorthian ships began their descent, ready to claim their new subjects. Little did they know, They had just awakened a force unlike any they had ever encountered. Humanity was ready to show the galaxy what it was truly capable of. As the first Zorthian shuttles touched down on Earth's surface, Elena and General Chen exchanged a determined look. The real battle was just beginning, and humanity was ready to fight for its place among the stars. The next few months were a delicate balance of apparent cooperation and covert resistance. As Zorthian administrators began to establish their presence on Earth, humans from all walks of life found ways to subtly undermine their new overlords while appearing to be model subjects. Scientists like Elena worked tirelessly to understand and reverse engineer Zorthian technology, making breakthroughs in fields ranging from faster-than-light travel to energy weapons. Meanwhile, General Chen and his team began to quietly recruit and train a global network of resistance fighters, preparing for the day when humanity would strike back. As the first year under Zorthian rule drew to a close, Earth was a planet transformed. To the casual observer, it appeared to be just another jewel in the Empire's crown. But beneath the surface, a storm was brewing, one that would soon shake the very foundations of the galaxy. The Great Deception. 2 years into Earth's apparent submission to the Zorthian Empire, the planet had become a hive of clandestine activity. On the surface, humans played the role of obedient subjects, but beneath this facade, a revolution was brewing. In a hidden underground facility beneath the ruins of old New York, Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood before a holographic display, her eyes gleaming with excitement. "Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Project Phoenix." The room erupted in gasps as the hologram flickered to life, revealing a sleek spacecraft unlike anything Earth had ever produced. It was a perfect replica of a Zorthian cruiser, but with one crucial difference: it was built entirely by human hands, using reverse-engineered alien tech. "This isn't just a ship," Elena explained, her voice filled with pride. "It's our ticket to freedom. With this, we can move undetected through Zorthian space, gathering intel and allies from other subjugated worlds." General Chen, now sporting a cybernetic eye courtesy of Zorthian enhancements, nodded approvingly. "Impressive, Doctor. But how do we get it past the orbital defenses?" A mischievous grin spread across Elena's face. "That's where Operation Trojan Horse comes in." Meanwhile, in the sprawling Zorthian administrative complex in former Washington, D.C., High Commander Zexlor was growing increasingly frustrated. Despite Earth's apparent compliance, production quotas were consistently falling short, and reports of minor accidents and malfunctions were on the rise. "This is unacceptable," Zexlor bellowed, his tentacles writhing in agitation. "These humans are either incompetent or, his eyed, a younger Zorthian named Calvin, hesitated before speaking. "Or perhaps they are not as docile as we believed, High Commander." Zexlor's compound eyes narrowed. "Impossible. No species has ever resisted us for long. These humans are weak, divided. They lack the unity and technology to pose any real threat." Little did Zexlor know, his words couldn't be further from the truth. Across the globe, in labs and workshops disguised as Zorthian production facilities, humans were pushing the boundaries of science and engineering. They had learned to hijack the quantum entanglement network the Zorthians used for communication, creating an untraceable system of their own. In the Australian outback, now a barren wasteland due to Zorthian mining operations, a young hacker named Zara Wong sat cross-legged in a hidden bunker, her fingers flying across a holographic keyboard. She had just breached the Zorthian central database, a feat thought impossible by even the most optimistic resistance members. "I'm in," she whispered into her comlink. "You won't believe what I'm seeing. The Zorthians, they're not as united as they want us to believe. There are factions, power struggles. And get this, we're not the only ones fighting back." Back in the New York facility, Elena and Chen listened intently to Zara's report. This was the breakthrough they had been waiting for. "It's time," Chen declared, his cybernetic eye glowing with determination. "Initiate Operation Trojan Horse." The plan was audacious, bordering on insane. They would use the Zorthians' own bureaucracy against them, submitting a request for a special shipment to be sent to the Empire's capital world. The shipment would be none other than Project Phoenix, disguised as a tribute from Earth's resources. As the day of the shipment arrived, tension ran high among the resistance. Everything hinged on this moment. If they were discovered, Earth's chance at freedom would be crushed forever. The massive hangar doors opened, revealing Project Phoenix in all its glory, now painted with Zorthian insignia. A team of humans, led by Elena herself, boarded the ship under the guise of being a diplomatic envoy. As the ship rose into the sky, Zexalo watched from his office, a sense of unease growing within him. Something felt off, but he couldn't quite put his finger on it. Just as Project Phoenix was about to break atmosphere, alarms blared across the Zorthian command center. "High Commander," an officer shouted, "we're detecting an unauthorized launch." Zexalo's eyes widened in shock. Impossible. Shoot it down immediately. But it was too late. Project Phoenix engines flared to life, propelling the ship faster than any Zorthian vessel could match. In a brilliant flash of light, it vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind a stunned and enraged Zorthian force. Aboard the ship, Elena let out a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. "We did it," she whispered, tears of joy and relief streaming down her face. As Project Phoenix hurtled through the cosmos, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of Earth, a new chapter in human history was about to unfold. The Great Deception had worked, and now the real fight for freedom could begin. Back on Earth, as Zorthian forces scrambled to tighten their grip, a message began to spread through the hidden resistance networks. It was simple, yet powerful, igniting hope in the hearts of millions. The Phoenix has risen. Humanity fights back. The stage was set for a conflict that would shake the very foundations of the Zorthian Empire and prove once and for all why humans were a force to be reckoned with in the vast expanse of the galaxy. The spark of rebellion. The Zorthian Empire's grit on Earth tightened like a vice in the wake of Project Phoenix's daring escape. High Commander Zexalo, his pride wounded and position threatened, unleashed a wave of oppression unlike anything humanity had faced before. But the spark of rebellion, once ignited, proved impossible to extinguish. In the neon-drenched underbelly of Neo-Tokyo, a group of resistance fighters huddled around a makeshift holotable. Their leader, a former mixed martial arts champion turned freedom fighter named Akira Tanaka, pointed to a pulsing red dot on the map. "This is it, team. Our first major strike against the squids," Akira said, her cybernetic arm whirring softly as she gestured. "Operation Blackout begins now." Across the globe, in synchronized precision, human resistance cells sprang into action. Their target, the Zorthian energy grid that powered their oppressive rule. In the sprawling deserts of the American Southwest, now home to massive Zorthian power plants, a lone figure sprinted across the sand. Sarah Dust Devil Martinez, once a champion ultramarathon runner, now used her enhanced endurance for a higher purpose. As she approached the facility's perimeter, Sarah tapped her wrist computer. "Activating Ghost Protocol," she whispered. Her suit shimmered, bending light around her and rendering her nearly invisible. Inside the power plant, Zorthian guards patrolled with their energy stars at the ready, but they were unprepared for what came next. Sarah materialized in the central control room, her hands flying over the alien console. "Uploading virus now," she reported through her secure comm link. Simultaneously, in orbiting Zorthian platforms and ground-based facilities worldwide, human agents executed similar attacks. The result was spectacular. A cascade of failures rippled through the Zorthian power network. Cities plunged into darkness. Force fields protecting key installations flickered and died. For precious minutes, the aliens were vulnerable. In his command center, Zexalo roared in fury as emergency lights bathed the room in an eerie red glow. "How is this possible?" he demanded, tentacles writhing in agitation. His eye, Calvin, hesitated before responding. High Commander, we've detected a sophisticated cyber attack. It bears similarities to Zorthian military-grade algorithms. Zexor's compound eyes narrowed. Impossible. These primitives couldn't possibly. He froze mid-sentence, a chilling realization dawning. The Phoenix. They've weaponized our own technology against us. As chaos reigned in Zorthian ranks, the human resistance struck hard and fast. Sleeper agents embedded in Zorthian work camps led mass breakouts. Stockpiles of weapons, hidden for years in preparation for this moment, were distributed to newly liberated fighters. In orbit, the situation was just as dire for the invaders. Captain Lena Volkov, a former Russian cosmonaut turned resistance space warfare expert, led a daring assault on a Zorthian battlecruiser. Using shuttles disguised as maintenance craft, Lena's team breached the massive ship's hull. "Remember," she told her squad as they prepared to disembark, "we take this ship intact. It's our ticket to joining the Phoenix in deep space." The battle that ensued in the corridors of the Zorthian vessel was nothing short of legendary. Humans, outnumbered and outgunned, used every trick in their arsenal. Gravity manipulation devices turned corridors into death traps for the unsuspecting Zorthians. Sonic weapons, reverse-engineered and improved by human scientists, left the aliens disoriented and vulnerable. As the last Zorthian defender fell, Lena stood on the bridge of the captured ship, a fierce grin on her face. "This is Captain Volkov to all Earth resistance cells. The SS Humanity's Hope is under our control. The stars are ours." A cheer erupted over the global resistance network. For the first time since the invasion, humanity had a true warship capable of standing toe-to-toe with Zorthian fleets. But the victory came at a cost. As the initial euphoria of the coordinated strikes faded, the Zorthian counterattack began in earnest. Orbital bombardments targeted known resistance strongholds. Zorthian shock troops, freed from their now non-functional containment armor, rampaged through cities with unbridled ferocity. In the burning ruins of what was once downtown Los Angeles, Akira Tanaka stood with her team, watching pillars of smoke rise into the sky. "This is the moment," she said, her voice heavy with the weight of command. "Everything we've planned, everything we've sacrificed has led to this. We've shown them we can hurt them. Now we show them we can win." She activated her global comm link, her words reaching every resistance fighter across the planet and in orbit. "To all humans fighting for our freedom, the real war starts now. We are no longer slaves or subjects. We are the wand of our own destiny. Remember, where there's life, there's hope, and humanity's hope burns brighter than any star in the galaxy." As her words echoed across the battlefield Earth had become, something unprecedented happened. The fear that had kept many humans compliant began to fade, replaced by a fierce determination. In every city, every work camp, every hidden bunker, humans stood a little taller, fought a little harder. The Zorthian Empire had made a fatal mistake. They had pushed humanity to the brink, never realizing that's where humans thrive best. Now, faced with the full unleashed potential of human ingenuity and courage, the invaders were about to learn why Earth would never truly be conquered. As the blazing sun set on the first day of open rebellion, one thing became crystal clear: the galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had entered the cosmic stage, and they were here to stay. Allies among the stars. The stolen Zorthian battlecruiser, rechristened Humanity's Hope, hurtled through the cosmos, carrying Earth's boldest heroes on a mission that would reshape galactic history. Captain Lena Volkov stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the swirling vortex of hyperspace outside the viewscreen. "Exit hyperspace in 3, 2, 1, the ship's AI announced, its voice a perfect blend of human warmth and machine precision. The vortex collapsed, revealing a breathtaking sight. A massive space station hung suspended against the backdrop of a binary star system, its architecture unlike anything human eyes had ever seen. "Welcome to Haven," a voice crackled over the comms, speaking in perfect English. "We've been expecting you." Lena exchanged shocked glances with her crew. How do they know our language? Dr. Elena Rodriguez, now serving as the ship's chief science officer, stepped forward, her eyes wide with realization. It's not just English. Look at the station's hull. Projected onto the station's surface were welcome messages in every human language, alongside symbols and scripts that no one from Earth recognized. As a docking bay opened to receive them, Lena made a decision that would change everything. We're going in. First contact protocols are in effect, people. Let's show the galaxy what humanity is really made of. The away team that stepped onto Haven's deck was a testament to Earth's diversity. Lena led the way, flanked by Elena, Akira Tanaka, and a towering figure whose very presence seemed to defy physics, Dr. Kwame Osei, Earth's leading expert in quantum mechanics and the inventor of humanity's greatest secret weapon. They were greeted by a sight that left them speechless. Dozens of alien species, each more fantastic than the last, stood before them. Some were vaguely humanoid, others defied easy description, but all wore the same expression of hope and determination. A being that appeared to be made of living crystals stepped forward. When it spoke, its body chimed like wind bells. I am Zixi, elected Speaker of the Galactic Resistance. On behalf of all species oppressed by the Zorthian Empire, we welcome our human allies. What followed was a crash course in galactic politics. Haven, they learned, was a secret refuge for species who had escaped Zorthian rule. Some had been fighting for centuries, others for millennia. All had watched in awe as humanity, in just a few short years, had done what none of them could: strike a meaningful blow against their oppressors. Your adaptability, your creativity, your sheer determination, it's unlike anything we've seen, Zixi explained. You've given hope to a galaxy that had almost forgotten what hope felt like. As the humans shared their story and their plans, excitement rippled through the assembled aliens. Alliances were forged, technologies exchanged, and strategies devised that would have been impossible for any one species alone. But the greatest revelation came when Dr. Osei finally unveiled the secret project he'd been working on throughout their journey. We call it the Nexus, he said, activating a holographic display. A device no larger than a human hand appeared, pulsing with ethereal energy. It's a quantum entanglement amplifier capable of linking minds across vast distances. With this, we can coordinate our attacks with perfect synchronization, share knowledge instantly, and even, well, you might want to see for yourself. Quang closed his eyes, gripping the Nexus. Suddenly, every being in the room gasped. For a brief moment, they all shared one mind, one purpose. The experience was overwhelming, beautiful, and terrifying all at once. By the cosmic core, Zixi whispered, their crystalline form shimmering with emotion. With this, we could unite the entire galaxy against the Zorthians. But even as plans were made and hopes soared, a shadow loomed. Unbeknownst to the assembled resistance, a Zorthian probe had followed humanity's hope through hyperspace. As the Alliance celebrated their new unity, the probe transmitted its findings back to the Empire. On the Zorthian throne world, High Commander Zexlor received the report with a mixture of rage and fear. So, he hissed, the vermin have united. Prepare the Worldbreaker. It's time to show these rebels the true might of the Empire. The Worldbreaker. A weapon of such devastating power that its very existence had been kept secret from even most Zorthians. A weapon capable of shattering planets and extinguishing stars. As the new Galactic Alliance prepared for their first joint operation, they remained unaware that the Zorthians were about to escalate the conflict beyond anything they had imagined. Back on Haven, as strategies were planned and technologies shared, Elena found herself drawn to a quiet corner of the station. There, she found a mural depicting the histories of 100 fallen worlds. As she studied it, a small, insectoid alien approached her. Your world is not on this wall, the alien clicked softly. And because of you, many others may yet avoid this fate. Elena turned, her eyes shining with determination. "We'll free them all," she promised. "Every world, every species. And then we'll build something better together." As if in answer to her words, the station shuddered. Alarms blared as the Zorthian Armada, led by the ominous bulk of the Worldbreaker, dropped out of hyperspace. The next few moments would determine the fate not just of humanity, but of all free species in the galaxy. As battle stations were manned and the Nexus powered up, one thing became clear. The universe was about to witness the true power of unity, with humanity leading the charge. The stage was set for a confrontation that would echo through the cosmos for eons to come. Humanity, once isolated on their blue marble, now stood at the center of a galactic drama, ready to prove that sometimes the greatest heroes come from the most unexpected places. The turning tide. The void of space erupted into a dazzling display of destruction as the Zorthian Armada clashed with a hastily assembled Galactic Alliance fleet. At the heart of the Alliance formation, the Humanity's Hope stood as a beacon of defiance. Captain Lena Volkov's voice rang out across the Allied comms. "This is it, people. Everything we've fought for comes down to this moment. Remember, we're not just fighting for Earth anymore. We're fighting for every free being in the galaxy." The battle that unfolded was unlike anything the cosmos had ever witnessed. Ships from 100 different worlds, each with their own unique technologies and tactics, moved in perfect synchronization thanks to Dr. Osai's Nexus device. Aboard the Humanity's Hope, Dr. Elena Rodriguez manned a station that looked more like a meditation pod than a weapon. "Initiating psychic shield," she called out. A shimmering barrier of pure thought enveloped the Allied fleet, deflecting Zorthian energy weapons. Meanwhile, Akira Tanaka led a squadron of fighters cobbled together from various alien craft. Her voice crackled over the comms. "Stingray Squadron, form up on me. Let's show these squids how we dance in Tokyo." What followed was a display of piloting that defied the laws of physics. Akira's fighters wove impossible patterns through space, their movements so unpredictable that Zorthian targeting systems simply couldn't keep up. But the tide of battle shifted when the Worldbreaker moved into position. The massive weapon, easily dwarfing even the largest battleships, began to power up. Its purpose became terrifyingly clear as a nearby uninhabited planet started to crack and disintegrate. "By all that's holy," Lena whispered, watching the planet's destruction. "We need to take that thing out now." It was at this moment that humanity's greatest strength came to the fore, the ability to inspire others to greatness. Lena opened a channel to the entire Allied fleet. "Listen up. We didn't come this far to watch worlds die. Every species here has suffered under Zorthian oppression. But today, we write a new story. A story of unity, of courage, of hope. Who's with me?" The response was immediate and overwhelming. Ships from every allied species formed up behind the Humanity's Hope, ready to make the suicidal run at the Worldbreaker. As they approached, Dr. Osai's voice came over the comms. "Captain, I have an idea. It's crazy, but it just might work." What followed was a plan so audacious, so uniquely human, that it left their alien allies in awe. Using the Nexus device, Osai proposed to link the minds of every ship's crew, creating a collective consciousness that could outthink and outmaneuver the Zorthian defenses. But the strain, Elena protested, it could burn out everyone's minds. Osai's reply was grim but determined. Sometimes, to save the many, the few must risk everything. As the Allied fleet closed in on the Worldbreaker, Lena made the call. "Do it." In an instant, thousands of minds became one. The experience was overwhelming. Countless lifetimes of knowledge, fear, hope, and determination flooding through each individual. But rising above it all was a singular purpose: victory. The Allied ships moved as one impossible organism, their maneuvers defying any known laws of space combat. Zorthian ships fired frantically, but couldn't land a single hit on the perfectly coordinated swarm. Humanity's Hope led the charge, weaving through a storm of energy blasts. They had one shot at this, a precise hit to the Worldbreaker's main power core. As they closed in, High Commander Zexalor's voice boomed across all frequencies. "You primitive fools. You think your unity can match the power of a civilization that has ruled the stars for millennia? Embrace your extinction." Lena's response was short and quintessentially human. "Hey Zexalor, catch this." In that moment, humanity's hope launched its secret weapon, a warhead that Dr. Osai had been working on throughout their journey. It contained a miniature black hole, contained in a field of exotic matter. The warhead struck true, puncturing the Worldbreaker's shields and detonating at its core. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, with terrible majesty, the massive weapon began to implode, collapsing in on itself as the black hole grew. The collective consciousness of the Allied fleet felt a surge of triumph, quickly followed by terror as they realized the black hole was growing faster than anticipated. They had precious seconds to escape its pull. In a feat of piloting that would be remembered for generations, the Allied fleet rode the shockwave of the Worldbreaker's destruction, using it to slingshot away from the growing singularity. Behind them, the remainder of the Zorthian fleet wasn't so lucky, drawn inexorably into oblivion. As the dust settled and the collective consciousness gently dissolved, the Allied species found themselves forever changed. They had touched each other's minds, shared each other's hopes and fears. They were no longer just allies, they were family. Aboard humanity's hope, as the crew slowly recovered from the mental link, Lena stared out at the battlefield. Where once there had been a mighty armada, now there was only the gentle spin of a newborn black hole, shimmering with the last remnants of the Worldbreaker's energy. "We did it," she breathed, almost unable to believe it. "We actually did it." But even as the Allied fleet celebrated their impossible victory, a new challenge loomed. The Zorthian Empire, while dealt a crippling blow, was vast. The war was far from over. As if sensing her thoughts, Elena placed a hand on Lena's shoulder. "So, Captain," she said with a tired but determined smile, "where do we liberate first?" Lena's answer was lost in a sudden burst of static. A new transmission was cutting through all frequencies, originating from the depths of Zorthian space. As the message cleared, the Allied fleet fell silent, realizing that the greatest challenge of all was yet to come. The next phase of the war would take them to the very heart of the Empire, in a final confrontation that would determine the fate of not just humanity, but every free species in the galaxy. The turning tide had come, but would it be enough to wash away millennia of oppression? As the Allied fleet set course for the unknown, one thing was certain: the legend of humanity's indomitable spirit was spreading across the stars, igniting hope in the darkest corners of the cosmos. The galaxy would never be the same again. A new dawn for the galaxy. The message that had interrupted the Allied fleet's celebration was not a threat, but a desperate plea. It came from an unexpected source. Calvin, the former aide to High Commander Zexalor, now leader of a growing Zorthian rebellion. To the heroes who destroyed the Worldbreaker, Calvin's holographic form flickered before the stunned Allied leaders. "I bring news that will change everything. Our empire is a lie." What followed was a revelation that shook the very foundations of galactic history. The Zorthians, Calvin explained, were not the all-powerful conquerors they claimed to be. They were the last survivors of a long-dead civilization, using stolen technology and elaborate deceptions to maintain their rule. "The heart of our empire," Calvin continued, "is the Nexus Prime, an ancient supercomputer that manages our entire civilization. But it's failing, and with it, our ability to control our conquered worlds. We need your help to shut it down and free, not just your people, but ours as well." The Allied leaders were skeptical, but intrigued. It was Dr. Elena Rodriguez who made the connection. The Nexus Prime. It must be the source of the technology we reverse-engineered for our own Nexus device. A plan was formed, bold, dangerous, and quintessentially human in its audacity. The Allied fleet would launch an all-out assault on the Zorthian throne world, serving as a distraction while a small team infiltrated the planet to reach the Nexus Prime. As the fleet prepared for what could be their final battle, Captain Lena Volkov addressed the assembled species. Today, we fight not just for our freedom, but for truth. We fight to break cycles of oppression that have lasted millennia. Whatever happens, remember this: the universe will never forget what we do here. The battle that followed was beyond epic. The Allied fleet, though outnumbered, fought with the desperation of those who knew everything was at stake. Ships from 100 worlds performed maneuvers that defied physics, their crews linked by the power of the Nexus device. On the surface of the Zorthian throne world, a small team led by Akira Tanaka and Dr. Kwame Osei fought their way through ancient corridors. They were joined by Calvin, the unlikely Zorthian ally who risked everything for a chance at redemption. As they approached the chamber housing the Nexus Prime, they faced an unexpected obstacle. High Commander Zexlor, or what was left of him. The Zorthian leader had merged with the ancient machine, becoming a grotesque cyborg monstrosity. Fools. Zexlor's voice boomed, now tinged with electronic distortion. I am no longer merely Zorthian. I am the Empire itself. What followed was a battle on two fronts, physical and digital. While Akira and Calvin engaged Zexlor in combat, Osei and Elena launched a desperate attack on the Nexus Prime systems. Using their own Nexus device, they established a link with the ancient supercomputer. Suddenly, the entire history of the galaxy flooded their minds. They saw the rise and fall of countless civilizations, the true origins of the Zorthians, and the terrible loneliness that had driven them to conquer. In a moment of brilliant inspiration, Elena realized the solution wasn't to destroy the Nexus Prime, but to reprogram it. We can use it to undo the damage the Empire has done, she shouted over the chaos of battle. We can restore worlds, revive extinct species, share knowledge across the galaxy. As Akira landed the final blow on Zexlor, severing his connection to the machine, Osei and Elena made their move. They'd poured not just their knowledge, but their humanity into the Nexus Prime. Compassion, creativity, the desire for peace. These uniquely human traits flooded the ancient system. The effect was immediate and awe-inspiring. Across the galaxy, Zorthian weapons and control systems shut down. But more than that, a wave of understanding swept through every sentient being. For a brief moment, the entire galaxy was united in a single shared consciousness. As the team staggered out of the Nexus chamber, they emerged into a world transformed. The Zorthian capital was no longer a monument to oppression, but a place of wonder and potential. Former enemies helped each other to their feet, united by their shared experience. In orbit, the battle had come to a standstill. Zorthian and Allied ships floated side by side, their crews too overwhelmed by their newfound connection to continue fighting. As the dust settled and the galaxy took its first tentative steps into a new era, humanity found itself at the center of it all. They had done more than win a war. They had reshaped the very nature of galactic civilization. Lena's voice, filled with wonder and hope, summed up the feelings of trillions across the cosmos. This isn't the end, it's just the beginning. In the years that followed, a new galactic community emerged. The Nexus Prime, guided by the principles of cooperation and understanding that humanity had instilled, became a tool for healing and growth. Extinct species were revived, devastated worlds were restored, and the collected knowledge of countless civilizations was made available to all. Earth, once a backwater planet at the edge of the galaxy, became a beacon of hope and innovation. Humans, with their unique blend of adaptability, creativity, and determination, were sought after as advisors, explorers, and friends by species across the cosmos. As for our heroes, Lena, Elena, Akira, Osei, and even Calvin, they became legends, their names spoken with reverence on worlds they had never even heard of. But perhaps the greatest tribute came in the form of a new galactic custom. Whenever a species faced a challenge that seemed impossible, They would look to the stars and ask, what would humanity do? And so, the story of why we don't kill humans became a parable known throughout the galaxy. Not because humans couldn't be killed, but because their indomitable spirit, their capacity for forgiveness, and their ability to unite others had made them the architects of a new age of peace and discovery. The age of oppression was over. The age of exploration and unity had begun, and it all started because humanity, when pushed to the brink, chose not just to survive, but to thrive, and to bring everyone else along with them. As the twin suns set on the former Zorthian throne world, now the capital of the United Galactic Alliance, a small group gathered to watch. Humans stood shoulder to shoulder with beings of all shapes and sizes, former enemies now the closest of friends. Lena turned to her companions, a smile playing on her lips. So, she said, her eyes twinkling with the reflected starlight, where shall we go next? The universe, vast and full of wonders, awaited their answer.